So I'll tell you a story about the time Marvel and DC made one of the games I played when I was younger, made them change the title of their game because Marvel and DC used to hold the trademark rights to the word superhero. So the game is from the company Ardix Entertainment. They're the ones who made all the classics like Adventure Quest, Dragon Fable, Mech Quest, Adventure Quest World, Adventure Quest 3D. If you're of a certain age, you might remember those. If not, maybe not. This was back when like Newgrounds was huge. It was that era of internet where Flash was still very much around, and like they had ads all over the place for their games, so you couldn't really go anywhere without seeing advertisements for their games. They were just super popular. I don't think they ever quite reached like the popularity of something like RuneScape or other stuff like that, but they were pretty big back in the day. But they had this game here called Hero Smash. It is discontinued. I think it ran until 2017, something like that. Unrelated to the Marvel DC thing. I think it just didn't get enough players, and I think for what they said was like it was too expensive to run the servers for it. And like they had an explanation of like how they can keep their other games running, like the Adventure Quest, or Mech Quest. Mech Quest is one they're no longer updating, but you can still go and play it, I'm pretty sure. But this one being an MMO, I think they mentioned something about running servers for a multiplayer game being pricier, and that's why you can no longer play this one. But yeah, game is called Hero Smash now, but they originally wanted to call it Superhero Quest, just as a nod to their original game, Adventure Quest. And Marvel and DC stepped in and like, hey, no, you can't do that. We got that trademarked. It is worth noting, I Googled it, they no longer own the trademark as of 2024, I think. But it says here, Marvel and DC co-own trademark rights to superhero and superheroes starting in the late 1960s and 1970s, with initial registrations filed around 1967. The rival companies used the shared mark to block independent creators and competing publishers from using the term in titles, costumes, toys, and clothing. The cancellation case, the challenger, London-based comic publisher Super Babies Limited, led by Scott Richhold, petitioned the USPTO trademark trial and appeal board to cancel the marks after facing legal threats over their series, The Super Babies. The ruling, in September 2024, the trademark office issued a default judgment canceling Marvel and DC's registrations because the companies failed to respond or defend the generic phrase, freeing the term for general public use. I still can't believe, like, it's really cool that they no longer own the copyrights to it, but it's wild that it took till 2024 for them to lose it. So the quick summarized Google version of the story is, the original vision, Ardix Entertainment wanted to build a 2D superhero MMO RPG called Superhero Quest to expand on their Adventure Quest Worlds engine. The legal threat, right before alpha testing in 2010, the indie studio received a joint letter from the comic giants claiming sole ownership over the term superhero. The rebrand and protest, Ardix founder Adam Bond begrudgingly renamed the game Hero Smash. However, he openly complained about the situation, publicly stating that superhero was a generic common word that shouldn't be monopolized. Yeah, I remember back when this happened, they were going to try to, like, I don't know if they were going to try to fight it, but they definitely had some pushback on it. They didn't want to just like roll over and do whatever because, like it says, it's, pretty generic common word, and really, they shouldn't have trademarks over it, especially like going and doing the joint letter whatever toward Hero Smash, because even by 2010 they were kind of a smaller studio, I think, way smaller than any of the DC Marvel properties anyway, probably like a drop in the bucket compared to them, and they're like, no, you can't do that. Total douchebags, man. The retrospective irony, Hero Smash struggled, stopped major updates around 2014 to 2015, and completely died with the end of Adobe Flash support. Yet, a decade after the game's demise, the USPTO ruled exactly what Adam Bond argued in 2010. The phrase is generic and the trademark is dead. So it is sad to see the game die. Any of these games, like, I don't know. I had to get the Wayback Machine on this, but here's some just classic design notes from back when it was still being updated. It was a pretty interesting game. For me, I guess not enough content maybe, and also it was hard to get my friends I had at the time from Adventure Quest Worlds to jump over and try Hero Smash. I had like separate friends, really cool people in Hero Smash, but like I had to jump back over to Adventure Quest Worlds and go and talk to people I knew over there. And it was just, yeah. It had some promise, but it never did take off. I couldn't find much information on like the original statement from them as far as like the Marvel DC letter and stuff like that, but I just wanted to put that out there. I thought about that recently, and I was going to make a video on the topic of Marvel and DC having that trademark, but I didn't realize they no longer have it, or that it was just fairly recently that they stopped having it. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts on this. I'm sure, Hero Smash was like super niche, so I doubt we're going to get a lot of people here who have played it, much less maybe haven't even heard of it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, buddy. Let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.